solving linear equations in one variable. You can click the links in the description below to go to specific parts of the video, although I highly recommend watching every example as you may learn something from each one of them. Okay, we're now ready for example number 1. Remember that when we are answering any word problem, it is important that we read it carefully to understand it well. Most often than not, we may need to do it multiple times just to make sure we clearly get what it means. So please follow as I read the problem. One side of a triangle is twice the shortest side. The third side is 4 centimeters longer than the shortest. If its perimeter is 16 centimeters, how long is the shortest side? Pwede mong i-pause tong video para pwede mong basahin uli. Now, of course, we know that we should use our 5 steps para ma-solve tong problem natin. First step, given. Okay, now, basing from our problem, the first given or fact is one side of a triangle is twice the shortest side. So we can place it here. Next, the third side is 4 centimeters longer than the shortest. So pwede mong ilagay dito. Second given. And finally, the last data, if the perimeter is 16 centimeters, how long is its shortest side? So given na perimeter niya is 16 centimeters, ilagay natin dyan. So, first step done. Siyempre, pag nagmamadali ka, pwedeng wag mo nang isulat to. Pwede ring wag na to. Kasi you can, go back to the problem and know that. But I think the most important here is ito. The perimeter is 16 centimeters. Well, whatever you decide to do, all of them naman we can use as part of the given to help us solve the problem. Step 2, representation. When you say represent, ito na i-convert mo to something algebraic. So from words to something that you can solve. Usually, we represent values na hinahanap natin as variables, which is usually the variable x. Now, looking at our given, mapapansin mo that the first one side of a triangle is twice the shortest side. So itong one side is based sa shortest side kasi it's twice the shortest side. Now, comparing sa second given, the third side is 4 centimeters longer than the shortest. Again, based pa rin from the shortest side. So notice, dapat gamitin natin as the variable yung shortest side kasi yung dalawang given dyan are compared to the shortest side. Okay, first representation. Why not try to let x be our shortest side? Next thing na kailangan nating i-represent. So, one side of a triangle is twice the shortest side. So, ibig sabihin, we need to represent yung one side ng triangle. Okay, sige. Let's try and do that. So, let me write here yung one side na yan. Converting, we know from words to algebraic expression is means equals, correct? So, lalagay ko na kaagad. Direct translation. Is means equals. On the left side is one side. Lalagay ko dyan. And then, is means equals twice the shortest. It's 2 times, yun ibig sabihin ng twice, the shortest. But we know the shortest side is represented by x. So it will become 2x. Kaya pala, we can represent one side as 2x and it's based from the first given. Next, the third side. Take note, we are talking about a triangle here, so meron tayong tatlong sides. Now, we have to represent also the third side. According to the second given, the third side is, ayan na naman, we have the word is, which means yan yung equal sign. So, lalagyan ko dito, the third side is, ano daw yun? 4 centimeters longer than the shortest. So, it's 4 centimeters longer. So, yung shortest, which is x, we know from our previous representation, which is x, ito mas mahaba ng 4. O edi plus 4. So, that means the third can be represented by the algebraic expression x plus 4. So, let me write here, x plus 4. Representation done. Step 2. Next, step 3. Gresa given representation E4 equation. Now, our equation usually manggagaling pa rin syempre dito sa problem natin. And take note, we have a third given. Its perimeter is 16 centimeters. Recall from our previous topics. How do we get the perimeter again? The perimeter, take note, it's just the sum of all the sides, correct? Therefore, we write here that all the sides, we have the shortest plus, what's the next side? The one side plus the third side is equal to the perimeter. These three lengths, when added, should be equal to the perimeter. Now, substituting, ano na nga yung shortest? Buti na lang, we have represented it na. The shortest is represented by the variable x. Plus, one side. That one side is represented by 2x. Substitute. Plus, the third. Ano ba yung third side? It's x plus 4. So the quantity x plus 4 represents the third side. And of course, finally, the perimeter. But we know that the perimeter is 16 centimeters. So substitute that with 16. Therefore, we now have our working equation. X plus 2x plus the quantity x plus 4 is equal to 16. We have finally converted this to something that we can solve, which is the fourth step. Solve this equation. So, first, we have a parenthesis. According to the GEMDAS rule, solve this first. However, they're unlike terms, so hindi mo pwede combine. So, pwede mo na lang i-drop yung parenthesis. We now have x plus 2x plus x plus 4, drop the parenthesis, is equal to 16. And how do we solve this? Combine like terms. We have x plus 2x plus x is equal to 4x plus 4 is equal to 16. We want to solve for x, isolate x. We don't want plus 4 here. How do we counteract plus 4? Minus 4 both sides, or shortcut, you transpose. We now have 16 plus 4 will now become minus 4. We need to reverse its sign. On the left side, we only have 4x left. Simplifying the right side, 16 minus 4 is 12, which is equal to 4x. Now, we want to isolate x. We don't want 4. What connects 4 and x? Multiplication. How do we counteract that? Divide by 4. But you did that to the left side. You also do that to the right side. Cancel yung 4. X is equal to 3. But don't get too excited. Sometimes, pag meron kang nakitang x, ayan na yung sagot, sir. No. Always go back to the question to get the final step answer. Ano ba yung tinatanong? How long is the shortest side? Now, whenever you solve for the variable, don't immediately say that this is the final answer. Take note, go back to the question, and we're looking for the shortest side, as you can see here. And from our representation, the shortest side is represented by the variable x, which is actually what we already solved. So x represents the shortest, and it's equal to 3. And don't forget the units, centimeters. Therefore, this is the final answer. The shortest side is 3 centimeters. Now, if you want to check, or what if we're asked for the other side? So of course, we already have the answer, 3 centimeters. Now, we know that the shortest side is equal to 3 centimeters. Now, what if we're asked to get that one side there? Of course, what we can do is substitute the variable x in this algebraic expression. X we know is 3, therefore 2 times 3, that will be the length of that one side, which is 6 centimeters. Now, just in case, finally, tinatanong yung third side, we know it's x plus 4. Therefore, 3 plus 4, it will be 7 centimeters. That's how you get, just in case we're looking for these values. Now, of course, you can always check your final answer. One side of a triangle is twice the shortest. Itong side na to, 6. Is it twice the shortest side? Yes, it is. So, first given, checked. The third side is 4 centimeters longer than the shortest. The third side is 7. Is this 4 centimeters longer than the shortest, which is 3? Of course. Therefore, check po ang ating second given. And finally, the last given, just to make sure tama yung sagot natin, is the perimeter equal to 16? Adding all of these, 3 plus 6 is 9 plus 7, 16. That means the perimeter is really 16 centimeters. All of these, check. Therefore, our answer must be correct. Let's answer example number 2. Example number 2 is relatively more challenging than the first one. So, tsaga-tsaga lang tayo dito. Kayang-kaya natin to. Let me read. The perimeter of a triangle is 57 centimeters. So, from the first sentence, we know that it's a triangle. Therefore, we have 3 sides. And the sum of those 3 sides is 57 centimeters. So, that's the first sentence. Second, the longest side's length is, because of this word is here, we know that the longest side is being described. And it's 1 centimeter more than twice the length of the shortest. Wow, medyo mahaba. But don't worry, we'll try to look at this again mamaya. Hopefully, we can understand it better. And then, the third sentence. The length of the third side is, in this case, we are now describing the third side. Take note, it's a triangle. It should have 3 sides. And the third side is 5 centimeters less than the longest side. Medyo mahaba pa rin. But again, don't worry, we'll look at it later again so that we can understand it better. Finally, what's being asked is, give the length in centimeters of the 3 sides. Okay, let's try to use the 5 steps in solving this problem. First step, given. It's practically reading the problem again. The perimeter of a triangle is 57 centimeters. Let's write it here. Next, the longest side's length is 1 centimeter more than twice the length of the shortest side. Let's write it here and analyze it later na lang. The length of the third side is 5 centimeters less than the longest side. Let's write it here. And finally, give the length in centimeters of the 3 sides. That's required. Okay, first step done. Second step, representation. The key in representation is finding what's best to represent as your variable. So, let's analyze these 3 given and tingnan natin anong best that will be our variable x. Okay, let's look at the first given. The perimeter of a triangle is 57 centimeters. It doesn't give a clue kung ano yung variable na pwede nating i-represent as x. But we know in advance, since this is the perimeter, this would give us the equation. The sum of all the sides later should be 57 centimeters. So let's leave it for now. So let's look at the second given. The longest side's length, take note, we are describing the longest side. Is, remember kanina, whenever we use the word is, it means equal sign. We are describing the longest length. And according to this, it's 1 centimeter more than twice the length of the shortest side. So one takeaway from here is we are comparing the longest and the shortest side. And the way this is stated, it seems that it's best to let the shortest side be equal to x. So, dito tayo. Let's represent the shortest side. If the shortest side were x, and the longest side is being compared to that shortest side, anong representation ng longest side natin? It is 1 centimeter more than. Take note of the word than. Remember our conversion from words to algebraic expressions? Pag may than, you don't write as you read. You flip it. 1 centimeter more than means plus 1. So, 1 centimeter more than what? Twice the length of the shortest side. So, it's twice the shortest, which is represented by x. So, that's how we represent the longest. It's 1 more than twice the shortest. Whew! Buti na lang nakuha natin yon. So, we used the second given. Next, the third given. the length of the third side. Take note, we are now describing the third side. And it is, again, when you see the word is, it means equals. So let me write here. The third side is being described and it's 5 centimeters less than. Again, we use the word than, which means you flip their position. You don't write as you read, you flip it. So 5 centimeters less than means minus 5. 5 centimeters less than what? The longest. The third side is being compared to the longest side. Ano ba yung longest side? Diba? It's this whole thing. Therefore, 5 centimeters less than this. So let me copy that. We have 2x plus 1. So that means the third side is 5 centimeters less than the longest side, which is 2x plus 1. Whew! Ang haba din, but at least we got it. Now, we know, of course, that we can simplify this further, drop the parenthesis. It's the same thing as 2x. What is 1 minus 5? Minus 4. I would rather use this than this more complicated algebraic expression here. Step 2, done. That's the toughest part here, actually. Next, step 3, equation. The equation we know, of course, should come from this given. The perimeter of a triangle is 57. So, we add these 3, their sum should be 57. So, let me write it here in our equation. The shortest plus the next side is the longest plus the third side is equal to the perimeter, P. Substituting these, we know that the shortest is represented by x, plus we know the longest is represented by the quantity 2x plus 1, plus we know that the third is represented by this much simpler expression here, the quantity 2x minus 4. And it's equal to P, the perimeter, which is already given. It's 57 centimeters. So let me write here 57. So take note, this is now our working equation, meaning the equation we need to solve. And this is the fourth step. Solve this equation. Gemda's rule tells us we should combine these. However, we cannot because they are unlike terms. Ganon din ito. We don't have any like terms. Therefore, we can simply drop the parenthesis and it's equal to x plus 2x plus 1 plus 2x minus 4 and it's equal to 57. Combining like terms, we have x, 2x, and 2x. Combining, it's 5x. We know, of course, that plus 1 minus 4 is the same thing as minus 3. And it's equal to 57. Now, we want to isolate 5x. We don't want minus 3 here. We either add 3 to both left and right to cancel this, or transpose negative 3. It's a shortcut. So, 57 minus 3 when transposed becomes plus 3 this time. And on the left side, we only have 5x. Simplifying the right side, it's 60. This is 5x. What we want is to isolate x. We don't want 5. Counteract multiplication by 5. You divide both sides by 5. 5 divided by 5. Tugshyaw! Therefore, x is equal to 12. Now again, as we warned earlier, please don't expect that the answer kaagad is 12. Always go back to the question. Baka naman hiyang x na yan, hindi yan ang hinahanap. So reading the problem again, we're looking for the 3 sides. So that means we need to give 3 values. And what are those 3 sides? Buti na lang, we know that these 3, yan ang kailangan, and they're represented by these algebraic expressions. So, to give the answer, let me write here. The shortest then is equal to x, which is 12. Take note of the units. It should be in centimeters. So let me write here centimeters. Next side, we need to solve the longest. We know it's represented by 2x plus 1. But of course, we can substitute x with the value 12. So 2 times 12 plus 1 is equal to 2 times 12, 24 plus 1, it's 25 centimeters. And the last side is represented by 2x minus 4. So 2 times x which is 12. Substitute that with 12 minus 4. 2 times 12 is 24. Minus 4 is 20 centimeters. That's it. We now have solved the three sides of our triangle. However, just like any problem, we should always check whether our answer is correct or not by looking back at the given. First, the perimeter of a triangle is 57. If we add these three, we have this triangle. The first one, the first side is 12. This is 25 maybe, and this is 20. If we add them, is it equal to 57? Yes, it is. You can add. It's really 57 centimeters. First given, check. Second given, the longest side's length is 1 centimeter. So the longest side is 25. Is it 1 centimeter more than twice 12? Yes, it is. Finally, the last given, the third side is 5 centimeters less than the longest side. Is this 20? 5 centimeters less than 25? Yes. Therefore, everything is checked. Our answer must be correct. Last example for this session. Let's read the problem. The sides of a triangle are in the ratio 2:3:4. If its perimeter is 54 inches, how long is its longest side? Okay, this is a relatively easy question compared to the previous one. So, diretso na tayo. Step 1, given. Let me read the problem again. The sides of a triangle are in the ratio 2:3:4. Take note, we have three sides. That's why we have three values here, 2:3:4. Let's write that here. Next, if its perimeter is 54 inches, so that's the next given. The perimeter is 54 inches. Let's write that here. Given, done. Because take note, this is the required. Step 2, representation. Now, it's important to know that whenever you're given something like this, you should know how to represent these values. Ang gagawin natin, of course, we need to represent the sides. So let me label here. This is the first side. And then, just looking ahead, this is the second side, and this should be the third side. Now, when you're given 2:3:4, the best way to do this is represent them as 2x, 3x, and 4x. Take note, 2 for 2x, 3x, 4x. Okay, now, representation done. This is one of the easiest representation you can do when you're given ratios. Next part, equation. Equation will come from the perimeter. So we know that the perimeter, which is the sum of all the sides, therefore first plus second plus the third should be equal to the perimeter. Now, substituting the first from our representation, we know that the first is represented by 2x, plus the second is represented by 3x, plus the third is represented by 4x, is equal to P. However, we know that P is 54 inches, the perimeter. So, let's replace P with 54. Step 3 done. We now have our working equation, something that we need to solve. And that is our fourth step. Solve 2x plus 3x plus 4x is equal to 54. Of course, this is very easy. Combining our terms here, 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 4 is 9. Therefore, we have 9x, and it's equal to 54. We want to isolate x. We don't want 9 here. We know that 9 and x are connected by multiplication. Counteract that, divide by 9. So that later we can cancel. Divided by 9 sa kaliwa, we should also divide by 9 yung kanan para equal pa rin. Canceling those 9s there, we have x is equal to 54 divided by 9, or 6. Again, warning, it doesn't mean you have the value for x, then that's already the answer. Always go back to the problem. The question is, what is the longest side? Among these three, Ano kaya ang longest side? Of course, this should be the shortest because 2x lang yan. And this should be the longest. So let me label here. This is also known as your longest side. That means to get what's being asked, the longest side, we need to get 4x because this is our longest side. Substituting the value for x, 4 times what is x again? 6. And it's equal to 24. Now, take note, the given is in inches. Always make sure you write the units. So it's 24 inches. And that's how you answer this problem. Of course, we know that just in case we're looking for the shortest side, it is represented by 2x. So, pwede mong isolve by substituting x as equal to 6. So, this is the shortest side. Now, of course, just like any other problem, make sure that your answer is correct by looking back at the given. Are the sides of a triangle in the ratio 2:3:4? Well, we better solve these. So 2 times x is 6. So 2 times 6 is 12. That should be the shortest side. The second side should be 3x. So 3 times 6 is equal to 18. And finally, we already solved this. 4 times 6 is 24. If you divide by the GCF, which is 6, it will be 2:3:4. So first given, check. Its perimeter is 54. Let's try. If you add them, 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 4 is 14. Carry 1 there. 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 3 plus 2 is 54. So, really, the perimeter is 54 inches. Our answer must be correct.